Chapter 1. The Power of Withdrawal. Have you ever noticed how certain people can alter the atmosphere around them without uttering a single word? They don't raise their voice. They don't plead. They simply step back. And suddenly, everything shifts. The energy tilts. People start wondering, pursuing, feeling uneasy. Now imagine what would happen if you did the same. If you stopped reacting to every impulse, if you chose silence instead of knee-jerk replies, distance instead of confrontation, what do you think would unfold? That's where the real power lies. When you stop being endlessly reachable, emotionally, physically, mentally, the world scrambles. People used to manipulating you through your reactions lose their grip. But the moment you withdraw, everything flips. Those who thought they had you figured out suddenly realize they knew nothing at all. Carl Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to a better understanding of ourselves." Now reflect. When you pull back and go silent, who panics? Who stirs the pot to get a rise from you? That tells you more about them than it does about you. You keep offering parts of yourself to maintain peace, to avoid losing people who were never truly yours. With every forced agreement, every instant reply, every emotional flare, you give away fragments of your energy. And at the end of it all, what remains? Exhaustion, frustration, and an emptiness that defies explanation. Here's why. You've been far too available to people who don't deserve even a second of your silence. Chapter 2. The Illusion of Availability. This isn't about turning your back on the world. It's about finally choosing yourself. It's about what Jung called individuation, the process of becoming whole, authentic, complete. It starts when you realize silence can outweigh 1,000 debates. The pulling away, when done consciously, not out of fear, is pure power. So I ask you directly, how long will you allow your emotions to be ruled by others? How long will you dance like a puppet whenever someone presses your bruises? Maybe it's time to cut those strings, to become an enigma. Because when you step out of reach, everything shifts. You are conditioned to always show up, to answer quickly, to please, to say yes when you wanted to scream no. Since childhood, you are taught your worth lies in being available. But here's the blunt truth no one told you. This extreme accessibility isn't noble. It's a trap. As long as you think you must be perpetually open, emotionally or otherwise, you'll be drained and discarded the moment you're no longer useful. Why? Because constant availability makes you predictable. And what's predictable becomes a tool. You get used like an emotional emergency button, pressed when they crave attention or validation, then tucked away. You don't see it because you're stuck in the illusion that being endlessly present will make others stay. It doesn't work that way. Chapter 3. The Hidden Cost. Jung spoke of the persona, the mask we wear to be accepted and loved. This mask keeps you too available. You say you're fine when you're drowning. You answer texts when you're depleted. You justify, explain, defend, as though you owe the world something. But the more you stand center stage in others' lives, the more you vanish from your own. Being constantly available is self-abandonment in disguise. It's an invisible plea for approval, an attempt to control how others see you. But it comes at a steep price. Your peace. Your finite energy is spread thin, as if it's limitless. Those who demand your constant presence don't actually want you. They want what you offer: validation, comfort, distraction. When you draw boundaries, when you resist reacting, those people get frustrated. They accuse you, call you distant or strange. Not because you've changed, but because you stopped serving their needs. And here's the harshest truth. The more available you are, the less you are valued. What's too abundant becomes worthless. Nobody treasures what they didn't have to earn. Chapter 4. Guarding your energy. Now pause and ask yourself, who truly deserves your time? Who merits your presence, your listening? Or perhaps more importantly, who deserves your absence? But before you answer, understand this. Why do we overreact? Why do we give in so quickly? What fuels this reflex to justify, explain, please? The answer lies in what Jung called psychic energy. This is where we need to go next, because your energy is your most precious resource. If you don't safeguard it, someone else will drain it. If this resonates with you, consider subscribing to the channel. Your support matters. Chapter 5. The Mechanics of Manipulation. Jung didn't see the mind as an automatic machine. He saw it as an energy system. Every thought, emotion, action costs you energy. Are you choosing where that energy flows, or letting the world spend it for you? Every impulsive reply wastes psychic fuel. Defending yourself against hollow criticism, engaging in pointless debates, trying to please those who don't care, it all saps your core. Jung put it simply, what you resist persists. The more you react, the more entangled you become. Emotionally exhausted people aren't weak, they're misdirected. And when you're drained, you're prey. Manipulative and needy people sense it instantly. They see you don't guard your energy, that you react to everything, and they exploit that. A healthy psyche knows how to contain its energy. It knows how to say no without guilt, to remain silent without shame, to watch before acting. True strength isn't reacting, it's choosing when and how to respond. Chapter 6. Breaking the Cycle. How often have you lost sleep over unresolved conversations? How many hours have you wasted replaying what you should have said? This is wasted energy. You're keeping dead ghosts alive. You're feeding dynamics that exist only because you keep reacting. Psychic energy is like a force field. When guarded, it commands presence. You walk into a room and earn silent respect. But when scattered, you become invisible, fragile, and the world has no mercy for those who surrender easily. So start paying attention. What triggers your automatic reactions? These are the exact places where your energy leaks. This isn't about becoming cold, it's about reclaiming sovereignty. And here lies one of Jung's sharpest truths. When you conserve your energy, you shatter the projections others place on you, and that terrifies them. Chapter 7. The Disarming Power of Silence. You think you're in control. You think your reactions are choices, but often they're programmed. Those who know this exploit you easily. They don't shout or force. They just press your exposed buttons and you react every time. Jung called this projection, when people dump onto others what they refuse to face in themselves. But here's what few realize. While others project onto you, you become the screen. And the more available you are, the more you're a blank canvas. That friend who only calls in a crisis. That partner who only shows up when they need saving. That person who flatters you as long as you're useful. None of it is random. They aren't relating to you. They're relating to the role you agreed to play. Why do you agree? Because you fear disappointing, rejection, abandonment. The most lethal manipulation doesn't shout. It whispers through guilt. It thrives when you think you owe them something, even as it drains you. But here's the shift. When you stop reacting, the game breaks. When you say no, when you stay silent, when you withdraw, their illusion crumbles. Chapter 8. Sovereignty through silence. Your unavailability forces others to face themselves, and many can't handle that. Your silence exposes the chaos inside them. That's when they lash out, not because you're wrong, but because you stopped being useful. Jung said, "We do not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." When you withdraw, their shadows emerge. It's unbearable for those who always used you as an escape. Are you ready to face being misunderstood, rejected, attacked for protecting yourself? Are you willing to endure the silence that follows? Because in that silence, a new power is born. Chapter 9. The Mastery of Energy. The modern world is loud. Everyone wants to be heard, to argue, to prove themselves, at the cost of their peace. But there's a rare, overlooked power: silence. Not passive silence, but deliberate, strategic, crystal-clear silence. Silence that amplifies presence, rather than erasing it. Jung saw silence not as emptiness, but as fertile ground. When you stop reacting, you start seeing. Patterns, manipulation, self-sabotage cycles emerge. Silence sharpens clarity, and clarity terrifies those who seek to control you. Notice how people panic when you don't reply? It's not because they miss you. It's because your silence steals their narrative power. Chapter 10. Choosing yourself. While you speak, you're still playing their game. But when you go silent, you rewrite the rules. True silence isn't absence of voice. It's mastery of your own energy. It's choosing not to be dragged into battles unworthy of you. Individuation demands distance. Only in silence can you hear yourself clearly. But beware. Silence will distance you from people who only valued your utility. It'll make you look cold, distant, arrogant. That's their projection, not your truth. Maturity makes you selective with words. You realize every sentence is an energy investment. Not everyone deserves your truth. Sometimes silence isn't retreat. It's sovereignty. It's the stance of someone who no longer needs to prove anything. So, be yourself and stop giving people the attention they are not worthy of. That's their projection, not your truth. Maturity makes you selective with words. You realize every sentence is an energy investment. Not everyone deserves your truth. If this resonated with you, if you felt seen in these words, we invite you to subscribe to Psyche Wired, where we explore the depths of the human spirit together.